Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to Bacon in the AUBL HVG. So this is the event vehicle that we're all grinding for in Operation Heat, and this is potentially one of the most exciting vehicles in the event. Generally, all of the free premium vehicles that you have the chance to unlock with Operation Heat have been interesting, not really controversial, just good selections for vehicles, and that hasn't always been the case in a War Thunder event. So, more evidence that War Thunder is making progress in making these events more enjoyable for the community in general. And personally, I've had a great time grinding Operation Heat. There's some ups and downs, but honestly, if you just play vehicles that you enjoy and play some lineups that are fun, keeping in mind the altered meta, that things can be enjoyable. If you focus on doing everything you can to make progress, then that's when things start getting stressful. I had a pretty good time today. I just played one match after putting the girls down for a nap before starting to record this video, and it was a white knuckle match against the USA as Germans, and I managed to get my kill streak for ground forces, so that definitely takes off the pressure when it comes to the rest of my event grind for the next few hours. Busy as I am, but it's time for me to talk about this video, isn't it? This is a replay sent in by BaconGaming. Bacon has been a friend for a while, in fact, ever since I met him. He's a nice kid, he has a good attitude about the game and about life in general. I interviewed him a while back, and that seems like that round was actually higher than it registered. Both where he was aiming and where it actually appeared to strike, and I think that could be another deal similar to ghost shells that we're experiencing in the game right now. That's not just a typical replay bug, that is an issue with the game at this time, and I suspect it will be fixed as soon as Gaijin can get a handle on exactly what's causing the issue. Anyway, the reason I won't be talking a whole lot about the specifics of this battle is that Bacon already did a great commentary on this battle on his review of the AUBL 70 HVG, and I recommend that video on his channel. He forwarded this replay to me so I'd be able to have some content. So it's a little bit of insider trading there, I guess. It's nice to have friends in high places. Thank you, Bacon. It's my pleasure to show off his exploits in this battle and talk a bit about Operation Heat at the same time. Interesting that during these events, so many players that have not been playing the game for a while will come back, and the matchmaker is flooded, and the culture of the game seems to fluctuate a bit as well. I've seen the usual number of people who are feeling grumpy and frustrated, you might say, and I used to very much be among their numbers. This event, Operation Heat, is not all that different from previous Operation Summer events that we've had, and even similar events further in the past of War Thunder. It's been easier to complete every single time they've made a new event. At least from my perspective, but I think the numbers back that up as well. I remember the days when you needed to get teamwork and supporting fire. Both very easy if you have a good team to back you up of squad mates, very difficult if you don't. Anyway, the assists task is probably a lot easier for the community in general to accomplish. A shot out of nowhere splashes through Bacon's thin to non-existent armor. This vehicle even has to worry about rifle caliber machine gun fire from close range. But the advantage is that there's not a whole lot of collateral damage inside the tank when a round just passes on through. unless you're talking about something like heat or high explosive. In that case, hull break will get you. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on my AUBL HVG. I'm about 2/3 of the way done with the air and ground task today, so I look forward to getting those done with not too much worry, as the M48G2A or A2G A2, I think that's what it's called. That's a vehicle that'll be going up in battle rating and capability with update 1.91. And what else should I talk about here? Bacon's going to be a while repairing his cannon breach. That's right. All that time ago when he got shot and he done skedaddled, he was able to reposition halfway across the battlefield in a short amount of time, really showing off the mobility of the AUBL HVG, as with the AUBL itself, and this vehicle equipped with a 60mm high-velocity gun that gives it its name, has a great capability to be a nimble scout-type vehicle that does have a bit of a bite. I really like this vehicle. I think it's perfect for an event vehicle. It adds something very useful to the Italian tree, but by no means essential. There are other options for the Italians if you don't want to play this vehicle, so it's just perfect for one of these rare event premiums, and I appreciate that it's a premium. I remember the days where the top rewards for these operations would be a gift vehicle, even IS-7 a gift vehicle. Not quite so much fun to play, I must admit, when it doesn't have that golden name tag. Ya boy, always on that grind. The conversations in War Thunder and about War Thunder seem to be heating up. For a while it seemed everybody was just happy to grind out Operation Heat, and it has again been one of the most positive events I've seen in War Thunder history. I was excited about the workshop things, and I'll be interested to see the role that the workshop plays toward the end of this event, or after the end of this event, as vehicles will not be able to be bought and sold on the marketplace until a certain date. And I think that'll be good. It's a little bit less exciting than the IS-7 event was, than the other Build-A-Bear events, as the European Canadian puts it. There's another friend of mine that I really appreciate. Speaking of, on a completely unrelated topic and something that'll be completely out of date, but on the issue of the discussions popping up now that we're over halfway through Operation Heat, the hashtag fix the game and update 1.91 is being spread like cancer from, let's identify, the Orange Doom and Napalm Rata, two people that seem to be consistently bitter, I think is the word that I would use. While, certain issues with the game are things that we all experience and most of us can agree on, their attitudes seem to be mostly negative toward the state of the game, and that's what you generally hear from them these days, and that's one of the reasons that I haven't been watching Napalm as much as I used to. I really enjoyed his reviews back when he was sort of like an extra Mike Goes Boom. But Napalm's just been increasingly negative over the years, and it gets a little bit old. I still watch his stuff every now and then and listen to what he has to say for a while, but I'm just not interested in negativity because it's too contagious, and I have to limit that in my life for my dear little heart's sake. But I wanted to talk about the European Canadian because he made a great series of videos on the Fix the Game and Update 1.91 issue and the things he would like to see worked on in the game, and I expected to get a good, clear perspective from him. Also on the removal of the mouse. That's one of those videos that I would recommend as well. Tech makes usually 3 or 4 videos in a day, even more if a lot of stuff is happening in the game, and a lot of stuff is happening right now. Appreciate your work, man. I know that you have a full-time job and a wife to look after, and I appreciate that you've adopted so many people in this community. You've got broad shoulders, and I really appreciate it. So why the segue into talking about the European Canadian? Because my attitude was actually really negative when I learned, and it was just shocking to me, that Gaijin plans to remove the mouse along with the other, we'll call them non-historical German vehicles that they're removing from the game. As we all know, the mouse is a historical vehicle that was destroyed in war after it had been completed. A vehicle that had been tested. The 2 copies, apparently, at least, had been actually built, and there's plenty of documentation. And on top of all of that, it's been at the heart of War Thunder. I remember specifically looking at the top tier of every nation when I came to the game and deciding where I was going to grind, and I watched Baron Von Games, RIP, video on the mouse, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go for Germany. And that is really the story of my early days of War Thunder, and it just kind of shocks me that ugly, beautiful brute of a beast, outdated, outmoded, but still just a glorious dream tank, might not be available to new players of War Thunder. And it shocked me, and I was feeling incredibly negative, and I really benefited from the European Canadian's view on the situation and the things that he brought up in that conversation. Anyway, guys, I talked about a lot of things today, current events more than anything else. I'm sorry if you came here for AUBL 70 HVG action. You definitely had it playing in the background. And thanks again to Bacon for sending in this replay. I promise I'll talk more about what you're doing next time, but catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.